Welcome back to day 2 of the T100 project. Today's going to be the fun bit, well, the start of the fun, of putting a few more bits on and seeing the bike sort of change. So I'm going to start off with the fork legs, which I'm going to clean, and just giving the stanchions a bit of a clean up with some water salt, because where they've been clamped and underneath the brackets they're a bit manky and rusty and whatnot. Yeah, so I'll get those, put the gaiters on. Got the gaiters here, or one of them, and the headlight brackets will go on at the same time, because obviously they're held between the yokes. And then we'll have a look at the mini indicators, probably get their handlebars on. So yeah, lots of fun and games. So right, I'll pop these on and then we'll have another look at it. Right, the bike's gated up now, and looks much better in my opinion. I do like these bikes with gaiters on the front. I think it just completes the front end. So yep, forks back in. I haven't torqued anything down, just nipped them up at the moment to keep the forks in there, because when the wheel goes back on I'll do the old couple of bounces to realign it. But the other thing I want to get, whilst we're getting this sort of top end sorted out, is the indicators. And so those of you, I'm sure you know, or you might have seen, this gavel type affair is a stock Bonneville indicator. Not the most attractive thing in the world, in my opinion. So we've gone for these, marginally smaller than stock, only a little bit, but LED indicators, and I think personally they'll be much more of an improvement. They'll sort of blend in with the headlight brackets, you won't really see them. But as you can see, we have this affair left from where the stock indicator was, and that's just going to look a bit shit if that was in there. So I've got these knocking around from when I used to have the stock headlight brackets on mine, and I changed the indicators. These little God, I can't even remember where these are from. They're either British Customs or PJ Glass Fibre. I don't know, whoever's was the cheapest, really, I think. And then they just bolt on in place there and just dress it up a little bit more, so you haven't got the kind of rough look. So I shall put those on now. Okay, and let's spot the indicator. There we go. Much nicer and cleaner on the front, I think. Less is more. I'm going to wire them in and sleeve them later when I've put the rear ones in, and I've got to change the relay as well, because obviously they're LED, so the flash rate's going to be different. So I'll do all that later in one hit. But yeah, no, I'm liking those. That's, sort of, it's nice to make stuff a bit more invisible, but they're pretty bright, so that's cool. I'm not entirely sure which one I'm going to connect them yet. I've got a couple of options. I'll either use the old bullet connectors with the heat shrink round them, so that's I'll cut the ends off the ones on the original loom, or what I could do if I wanted to keep the connectors, sorry, because those are on the Bonneville, stock kind of connectors on there. So the female ends are on the main harness in the headlight bucket. I could cut these ones off and solder those on to the indicators, so that way you're leaving the harness alone. All you're worrying about is changing indicators. Or I could just chop them off and put the bullets on. I'm not entirely sure yet. If I do that, it renders these not useless. I could put some bullet ones on, but I'm guessing if these were to go on eBay or something like that, if anyone wanted to keep the stock ones or replace a broken stock one, it's nice to have the plug in and play bits, but I'll worry about that later. So we've got the Forks on, indicators are on. I think it's time to go and reveal the handlebars. So did you guess it? The Biltwell Ace bars, or Clubman bars. So going for definitely more of a cafe racer vibe on this one. They were, well, we took them off Jen's bike because long distances and with forward controls on the cruiser, it looks mental and is a lot of fun to ride, but not for a long time. So these are kind of surplus requirements because we're going to be doing something slightly different with Jen's America. So we tried them on, and he likes them. Of course, they fit the T100 because it's the inch bar. Won't fit mine. And yeah, that's what we're going to go for. So a bit more of the classic cafe racery drop bar. I really like the look of them on there. I think they're a cool bar anyway. But yeah, that's it. That's what we're going to be rolling with. So I'm going to get all the controls on that now. And yeah, so even from the front now, starting to get a very different look to the bike. And cool, rock and roll. There we go. Controls are all on. Bars are on. I've not torqued everything up fully tight. Everything's just tight enough to hold it all in place. Because obviously I'm gonna, when it's back down again, I'm gonna sit on it, feel what the control stretch is like, check the clearance and the angles and all that kind of malarkey. So pretty much what I'll do is tighten it all up, and then I'll start from the front of the bike and go all the way back, and anything I've touched and undone I'll double and triple check it's re-torqued up. But no, relatively easy. Some minor rerouting of the throttle cable and adjustment, just to make sure we don't get any binding at any point. But that's all good on the whole through the lock. The only thing, just me being picky, I'm going to disconnect the clutch cable and run that wire, the wire from that switch gear, down there rather than at the front, just because it will look neater. But that's just me being very picky. Yeah, so I'm liking it. I've had a sit on it and it's really nice. Unfortunately, it just makes me think, should I be selling my clip-ons? But who knows. Still no bids yet. If anyone's interested in a set of Sato rear sets and clip-ons. But there we go. So the other thing I'm going to do now is, while they're out and about and they're so small I might lose them, I'm going to pop the rear indicators on here. And I said in the last video, it's just a case of mounting them. Whoop, let's come underneath it. Mounting them into the tapped hole that's here, and there's just a bracket that comes out. Let's see, I'll show you those. There you go. Easy as. Come with a set of bolts, so they just go in, and voila, relocated indicators. Rear indicators in position, and nice and subtle until they start flashing. Again, I'll sleeve all this, put some heat shrink over the nuts so they don't go all cruddy, and sleeve all that and route it properly. But again, I'll wait till I'm doing the whole lot, and I've got the rear mudguard on, and I'm wiring in the brake light as well. But yeah, I think they look nice. Lovely job. Right, next piece on, the Mass Engineering Salt Racer front mudguard. Lovely bit of polished alloy. Really, you know me, I'm not really one for shiny things, but that is a really nice mudguard. Nice price tag as well. But we've got the matching rear fender to come as well. Still waiting on that. But yeah, it does certainly look the part. There we go. Weighs about 1/8 of the original mudguard. So I'm just going to put the plastic wrap over the top of it for now, because they that is pretty shiny and nice, and I think it'd be a good idea to try and keep it that way. So I guess the front wheel can go back on now. So there we go, the bike's off the stand. Everything I needed to do with it up in the air is done. Potentially, although I've got a feeling there might be some Hagons coming, but I should be able to do that with it on the centre stand. But anyway, no, I wanted to get it down off the ground, just have a sit on it, see what it feels like, check everything's all kind of nice and comfortable with the bars. There's no sort of fouling on the full lock or anything like that, but it feels great to sit on. Front wheels back on, everything's torqued down to the correct specs. Should be getting a delivery this afternoon now of the rear mudguard, the brake light, the little bellow. I think that's it. So whilst I'm waiting for that to come, I'm going to work on the front caliper. It needed a good clean up anyway. There was a good accumulation of brake dust, road grime, general shite and crap. But the pistons are pretty much seized in there, they're not moving. And the brake fluid, when I had a look inside the reservoir, is kind of the colour of my last urine sample, so that's going to get changed. So I'm going to crack on whilst I'm waiting for the delivery with sorting that out. I'll try and just get the pistons out off the lever. I've got a feeling though that line's going to have to come off and maybe get some compressed air in there to try and push them out. We've got a seal kit coming as well, just in case. But yeah, I'm going to crack on with that. I might try and film it, but I'm kind of time's on a bit of the essence, so I might need to sort of just crack on with it. But if I do remember to film, then I will. So I'm going to turn off now, and we'll see what comes up next. And to complement the front mudguard, I've just had the package arrive of the Mass Engineering rear guard. So that's now just roughly fitted up. Well, not roughly, it's bolted up, but it's not where it's going to be permanently affixed, because I need to take it off, because we've got the rear light to go on, which is that one. So I'll need to be marking it all up. But yeah, again, quite a nice bit of kit. Sort of very straightforward, just bolts on in place the other one, really. It takes a little bit of fettling just to get it in. There's like these rubber kind of washer grommets underneath there, and you kind of have to bend and manipulate them a little bit. At first it looks like they're really off, but it all comes together in the end. So yeah, the scary bit now is lining up the old rear light and I'm going to drill some holes in that. Okay, so the front indicators I've started to wire up, because I'm going to be moving on. I'll do the back indicators and the back light all together in one go. So what I finally opted to do was, rather than cut off the OEM connectors off the kind of the main part of the harness, I've sacrificed the stock indicators, in the sense that I've cut their connectors off, and literally kind of made up, if you like, adapter leads. So you've got your stock harness in there with the stock connectors, and then these are the bits off the stock indicators, which are then just connected to the new indicators. So that way it's kind of, you're not, I don't know, I just feel that's just the way I feel more comfortable doing it. So, you know, and if you want to sell on the stock indicators, you can just stick some bullet connectors on or something like that. But we'll just have a quick check of the, so obviously the rear ones aren't hooked up. Excellent, that's the indicators working front end. So I wonder if I'm just trying to put off drilling into the Mass Engineering rear guard. What I'll do first is obviously officer, just for show use only, here's the plate that's going on. So I'm going to mount that to the new light, and then when that's all bolted together I can decide exactly where that's going to go on there. So yep, next job. I couldn't resist, I thought I'd bring it outside and just have a good stand back and look at it. And yeah, I'm really liking the way it's turning out actually. I ain't gonna want to give this back. But there we go. Sleeker and meaner. So I think I'm just going to now finish off for today, repeat with the existing harness for the rear, and then plug it all in and connect it that way. I wanted to try and get all the wiring with the indicators and the lights, rear lights, kind of hooked up, and I almost succeeded. Annoyingly, I've exhausted my supply of bullet connectors, so I've looked high and low, but I've got one male, one female left. That's it. So the indicators, rear indicators, aren't wired in, but the rear light is. And I've done the same sort of principle as I did with the front. I've kept, this is the kind of the existing bit of loom that you get on the back that we unplugged when we took the mudguard off. So everything goes into one nice block connector, and the indicators and the rear light feed off that. So that's the kind of OEM connectors for the indicators, which will get used. The indicators themselves need to be sort of sleeved and have the male ends of the OEM connectors put on. So that's tomorrow's job. And then, but the rear brake light, I had enough bullet connectors, because obviously these wires are wired straight into the rear light, so I've just had to cut those out, chop the connectors that come with these off, and I've put some heat shrink bullet connectors on there, and just neatly put it all under the seat there. So let's have a look, check it all works. I know it all works. I tried this before I turned the camera on. I didn't want to look a complete twat if it didn't. There we go. Very bright as well. It's nice LEDs. Let's see if I get the brake light on. So there we go. That's the end of day 2 on this little project. Making some progress. And yeah, so I'll go into town and get some bits and bobs tomorrow. But I reckon there'll be one more day on this. Well, not even a day probably. I think all we've got left to do, got to sort that front brake out. Tried using compressed air to blow the pistons out, but one moved a bit, the other one didn't move at all, so I'm going to have to get a bit heavy duty with that. I'm not looking forward to that. I think there's some Hagon shocks on the way to go on the back of this as well, so they'll go on, but that's not a big job. And of course the mini speedo. So just two kind of cosmetic things going on, and well, handling and cosmetic, and a bit of maintenance one. So yeah, probably another day at it. So I'll catch you on the next video.